Hey y'all, Fred here. Thanks so much for joining me today. We are going to do some speed dating with this Kershaw Iridium. This is a replica knife. This is a knife out of the collection of John, our good buddy John, longtime friend and supporter of the channel, sent us a whole bunch of knives to review on the channel and even give away one or two of them. He gave this to me in a box of stuff that came in a little bit of a rough condition, but you know, this is a replica and he paid all of 12 bucks for this thing. So we're going to look at the good, the bad, the ugly, let you know what I think about it, and see if it's maybe something you ought to think about or may want to just pass on by. We're going to find that out here in just a minute. Before I get too far into this, I don't know if this is like the second time or the 9th time that you've heard it, because I'm recording a whole bunch of videos, but I've got this new format I'm working on, and y'all have to give me some feedback in the comments. I'm trying to go through this fast. That's why I call this like speed dating your knives here, because despite the fact that I tend to ramble and go down occasional rabbit trails, I'm still going to get you out in much less time than I normally do. We're going to see if we can do it. I got the timer started. We're going to crank this baby up and let's go. Again, this knife is a Kershaw Iridium. This came from Temu. It's my buddy John sent it to me to review and do some cut testing and send it back to him. I'm not going to keep this knife, and that's perfectly okay with me. I'm just happy to have a look at it. Let's start off by taking a peek at the box. We always like to do that. Oh, you know what? If I didn't already say this, you know, if you would hit that thumbs up before you leave, because I know you're going to leave this video early and you're going to forget all about that thumbs up. So help your buddy out here by hitting that thumbs up right now while you can, please. That really helps. Thanks so much. If you're not subscribed, we'd love to have you join our band of renegades. There's not too many places on the internet that they look at replica knives like this, give you the good, the bad, the ugly. So if you hadn't done that, join us. Why not? Box it came in is typical Chinese Kershaw replica box kind of stuff. They have done their best to emulate the real thing. I am not a Kershaw expert, so I have no idea how close to the real thing this looks. Looks kind of real to me. It's close enough, realistic to me. Interestingly enough, this appears to be even one of the knives that Kershaw themselves make in China. So who knows? Maybe this is made in the same factory, one stall over. I don't know. But I do think that Kershaw probably wouldn't have sent out a knife in as rough a condition as this one. We're going to talk about that here too. Anyhow, there you go. There's the box. Let's do some quick size comps. Why not do the old regular standbys, our PM2 and Para 3. You can see the Iridium falls right in between both of these sizes of knives. So I'm going to call this more or less a medium size knife. We'll do another set of comparisons. How about the Spartan 𝗪cie 4-inch Plague Doctor folder? Whew, I'm tired of saying that on each of these videos. I'm going to have to find another comparison knife, but this is obviously one of my large full-size knives. And again, you can see it's a medium-sized knife. You get a little rosy here in case you're not familiar with that. I'm pretty sure all my viewers are at this point in time. That's all you're going to get. No, it's not all you're going to get, because I had another viewer who said, hey, you ought to put a dollar bill down, because everybody can get a dollar bill out and compare their current knives and their sizes they like against a dollar bill. So there you go. This is what a Kershaw looks sitting on a dollar bill. All right, rocking and rolling. Let's bring down the specs down the left-hand side of the screen. This thing is just a hair under 8 inches, 7.9 inches long total, 3.4-inch blade. Closed, it is 4.5 inches tall. The blade thickness is right at 100 thousandths, which is just a hair thinner than what the real one is. Looks super thin because of this swedge that comes in. Makes it really fine here, and then you can see it expands back out to a wider tip out here. Interesting design, looks kind of cool from the top. Anyhow, keeping on. Handle thickness is 432 thousandths. That's less than half an inch for those of you who need to convert to metric. The blade finish on this is a combination. It has really a stone-washed flats, which is really all just around here where the thumb stud is, and then it has satin finish. Interesting grind lines on this thing. One of the things I'll point out on that is instead of coming straight up and down as most grinds do, you can see this one angles back a little bit on this side and this side. Maybe that's normal. I don't have a Kershaw Iridium to compare it to, so maybe y'all will know if that's typical for a Kershaw Iridium. Throw that down in the comments. I'm curious if nobody else is, but I thought it was interesting and worth pointing out. This is obviously a partial flat grind. You only get about a little over half of that blade height that can be ground down. That's going to be a little thicker behind the edge. Down to the very bottom of the list, you can see I measured it at about 20 thousandths, which actually is not that thick at all. That's actually fairly slicey, so not bad on that. It is an aluminum handled, these are aluminum scales. Didn't even bother to check. Yep, they have nested steel liners on the inside of them with an aluminum backspacer and lanyard on there. I do not see any milled out pockets to make this thing light. However, you can see it's under 3.5 ounces. So, I mean, how much lighter do you really need? A knife with a 3.4-inch cutting blade, which is not really all 3.4. It's going to be close to that, maybe 3.3 on the cutting length. Anyhow, they call this a Duralock. We all know it as an axis lock, or, you know, I don't know. There's a billion names this thing is known by. Kershaw wants to call their version the Duralock. Cool. Yeehaw for that. Let's go ahead and do that blade test. I've already done this a billion times. I can tell you it locks up solid. It is not going to break out of that. So they did a good job on the Duralock. You can get these things really normally for, I didn't mention, this is normally a D2 steel. Have no idea what this is. It is marked here as D2. I'm willing to bet for the $12.05 that John paid for it. You can buy these all over Temu these days. You've probably been seeing them for months up there. I doubt it. I don't know. It could be a D2. Who the heck knows, man? I mean, like the whole thing, you could buy a brand new one for $60, but you know, why pay 60 when you could pay 12? I guess that's John's theory. I certainly can't really fault him very much for that. At any rate, let's dive in a little bit deeper. We're still going to get this thing home in time. Pocket clip is reversible. That's a good deal. Nice milled out pocket. Typical Kershaw pocket. These are actually good pocket clips. I got to give them credit for that. It's not too long. You can see they didn't make this thing overly long. The tension is good, just medium stiff, but definitely in and out of the pocket easy, no problem. It is reversible, so that's a pretty good thing. It does have T6s on there and the body screws. T8 on the pivot, which is really a non-captive pivot. And this is one of the other ways that you can tell this from the real thing. I don't know. Y'all can tell me. I'm assuming the real one, because there's no screw head on this side, has an actual truly captive pivot. Well, this was a nightmare. They put some kind of gunk on this pivot screw. It's like glue. I mean, maybe they were trying to use some thread locker, but I think they got into like the super glue bottle instead by accident. This thing was a bear to get out. You know, when you run into that situation, just in case you're wondering, you have to put a lot of pressure on this blade, like from one side or the other, while you're trying to unscrew it. I literally had a little bitty pry bar that I wedged down in the scales here to really get some leverage on there. And after a whole bunch of trying and effort, finally got this thing to break free. When I got in there, it was totally gunked up, just coated in slimy gunk. And, you know, I'm not going to blame that on my buddy John. I think this is the way he got it from Temu, which is probably why they sold it for $12. But worth pointing out in case you were thinking about going and getting one yourself. Otherwise, you know, the action is not bad. I will give them credit for that. You know, this is obviously their version of the bug out killer, which has been killed long ago. Does anybody really interested in the bug out anymore? And if you had this $12 version versus a bug out, which one would you probably want to carry? Yeah, maybe the bug out with the S30V steel is definitely going to be a better steel. I would say maybe the real D2 from Kershaw is probably well done, so I would just about as soon have that. A little less corrosion resistant maybe, but yeah, this is much thicker, sturdier, feels more comfortable and confident in the hand. You don't get those flexing scales. The action is not bad, you know, for being what it is, a $12 knife. You can open and close this thing all day long, reverse or forward. You've got good grippiness on the axis lock thumb studs, good grippiness on these thumb studs. Obviously, it's a thumb stud only deployment. It's got a pretty solid lock up now because I've taken it apart, cleaned it up, put it back together, and sharpened it up for my buddy John. Nice, good stop pin there. No real shouldering on that blade. When you come back down around this side over here, what in the world is holding this thing? Oh, it's the axis lock itself that's actually catching on the bottom side of this blade. So no problems. I'm looking for a problem with the sharpening choil, and you're not going to run into any problems with that. And in their credit, they gave us a good sharpening choil here, and that's pretty legitimate. So you can get a good bunch of sharpenings out of this knife. So really well done on all of that. Like I said, good lock up there. No pivot lash to speak of. Detent lash, you can't really tell on these axis lock / Duralock knives because it's always just spring loaded right there. And there's no real detent. So there you go. That's why there's no detent lash. I already did the blade whack. It is great. Blade shape is pretty good. This is a spear point blade, actually. We don't see too many of those true spear points. That swedge throws it a little bit, but it's a genuine spear point. center line on that, so you know you're going to have to get up a little bit higher than you might with some other knives, but not too bad, easily can handle. You can do a little bit of a pinch grip here. I mean, you can get it like there because you've got this almost flat choil that you can work with, and that gives you plenty of good control if you're opening packages, need to do anything like that. I wear a size large glove in case you're interested in that size comparison. You can see easily XL, maybe double XL would fit on there, no problem. This flat portion up here, in my opinion, is made to be like a forward finger choil. Works quite nice. It's certainly very comfortable. If I'm cutting cardboard, when I do some cardboard cutting with the test, this is where I'm going to be gripping that. Feel pretty confident up there, not too worried about that. So ergonomically, all is fine until we get to the issue itself of the scales. Really nicely done aluminum scales. They're anodized, is clean. There's no marks or, you know, like crappy anodizing jobs. Really nice, but it's very smooth. It's slick. That's the problem I have with this knife. Very little jimping. You get these 3 little jimps on the blade, which are very functional. They're deep enough. You can certainly get a little skin in those and lock down on that. That's the only jimping you'll find on this knife. So it's definitely slick. And I'll tell you where that becomes a real problem is if you want to switch over to lefty, it's easy enough to flip out, but it's a little slick to try to grip onto anything with your fingers closing and opening. So that's my only real and probably my biggest complaint about this knife. Otherwise, I mean, for 12 bucks, holy hell, you can't hardly beat this thing, right? Branding is true to the original, so you can't do anything about that. That is, you know, I mean, if you didn't know any better, you might be fooled into thinking this might be a real iridium. Pretty sure it's not, but there you go, that's what it is. I don't really have many other negatives besides that. You've got a good pocket clip that's reversible. Maybe the T6 screws, not great. I'd love to have T8s, but we always say that, don't we? And I mean, how much do you really expect? These little triangle studs are going to be hard to undo if you ever really need to undo them. Oh, the axis lock, the Omega springs in here, this is not an adjustable in terms of being able to adjust the tension on them. That being said, to me, the tension on these is really right about perfect. I don't think I would want it more either way or the other. So if that's a concern of yours, it shouldn't be. You don't need to let it be a concern. Let's see if I missed anything here. I do keep little pieces of notes. Grind lines are off just a little bit. These thumb studs are plenty grippy. The action is decent. Not adjustable, like I said. The flat forward choil is plenty good enough. The big issue for me, really, again, is just going to be the scales and the slickness of these scales. But really, for 12 bucks, y'all, this thing is pretty good. I did resharpen this knife. I did have to leave it at a 20 degree. I normally would have taken it to an 18, but because of how narrow the blade is and how high the thumb studs stick up, my grinder was going to be grinding out these thumb studs, trying to get it at any shallower of an angle on the old Work Sharp Pro. So I left it at a 20. It is plenty sharp for all day work. And, you know, if it's a D2 halfway worth its salt, it should hold up well, albeit less corrosion resistant. But yeehaw for that. We're good to go. I'm curious, are y'all bored with axis lock knives yet? I mean, I feel like we're all so darn spoiled. We're like, oh, I had axis lock knives last week. Can you give me something new this week? How about one of those cool new button compression locks? That's what I really want. Can you make this knife in a button compression lock? Are we just a bunch of whiny butts who want constantly to get something better? And I'd really like it for $15, please, while you're at it. How about that? Let me know what you think about this knife. Is this something that you would still think about picking up even at the old $12 to $15 price range? That is a curious question to me. Would I go out now and buy this knife to add it to my collection even at 15 bucks? I'm not entirely sure I would, if only because of the slickness of the scales and the axis lock. I'm kind of like bored with the axis lock when I've got these compression locks and button locks and, you know, even a good frame lock I'm still pretty happy with. But I will tell you, again, this one is good. The action is good, so not much I can complain about there. All right, y'all, there we go. I got us under 15 minutes, which, you know, for me, that's a pretty good number. So let me know what you think about this new format down there in the comments. Do you like the way I'm kind of just ripping through all these things? Or would you rather me slow down and take my time with it? If you'd rather me slow down, just know that, you know, it could be 7, 8, 9 videos before you see me do that because I'm recording a whole bunch this way. Anyhow, I appreciate y'all as always. Subscribe, become, you know, one of the dark horse members of our community with the rest of us. Otherwise, throw me a thumbs up on the way out the door. Make sure you turn the lights out. Why are you still here? This video is over. Thanks so much. See you on the next one.